Well, welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So, first thing I want to do today is just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And, the past 2 days here, I've been able to kind of spend time with my family, had a great past 2 days, and just kind of thinking about what I'm thankful for, and spending a lot of time with family, which is, I think, really good for, your mental state of mind and everything. And so I hope everyone out there had a great holiday. Hopefully you got all the presents you wanted, and really thankful. I was thinking about what I was thankful for. I'm really thankful for the support that this channel's had in kind of the first 6-7 months of doing these videos on kind of CGC 9.8 comics. So yeah, I was so thankful for the support and the engagement too. Some of the comments and some of the people I met has just been a big blessing. So I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays out there. And speaking of presents, I got just kind of shocked, and I'm still somewhat speechless and so happy, and I was so surprised because one of our team members here, part of Team CGC 9.8, Tony, who's the McFarlane collector on Instagram and YouTube here as well. Got a YouTube channel. I'll have all the links in the description below. You definitely got to check Tony out. He's the McFarlane collector on Instagram. And he sent me an amazing gift. And, he asked for my address, and I knew I was getting a gift, and thought it was going to be like a Christmas card. And he's a huge Spawn guy, so I thought, maybe it's like a raw, Spawn issue, a raw issue or something like that. He might throw in there. Because he's such a nice guy, and I've become great friends with him over the last couple months on Instagram. But he sent me this, a Spider-Man #1 Todd McFarlane cover, the gold edition. And yeah, you know what? I was so surprised and just so happy, and I'm kind of having a hard time finding the words now because I'm just overjoyed, and he definitely just got the perfect gift. I was so surprised, and it's so much. And another thing, he sent it from the United States. I knew shipping was a lot of money too, so it was just so much more than I expected. And I thank Tony so much. You definitely got to check him out on Instagram and YouTube. Certainly on Instagram, he's so consistent every morning, posting like awesome Spawn covers, awesome rare Todd McFarlane covers, and CGC 9.8. Everything he has is a CGC 9.8, like me, pretty much. So it's great just kind of waking up to his Instagram post and getting a new Todd McFarlane post every day. And but yeah, you know what? Thank you so much, Tony, for this. It brought me so much joy the last 2 days, and yeah, comics are all about pride of ownership, and man, you just nailed it on this one. Thank you so much. And it's just a great cover too, and I was showing it to my family even, and they just loved it. They loved it. Yeah, this cover is great. One I didn't have too, me being such a Todd McFarlane freak, you'd think I'd have this one. But never had a 9.8 of the Spider-Man ones. So yeah, Tony, thank you so much. Happy holidays to you and your family. And I owe you one, buddy. Still, pretty speechless to kind of show my gratitude for it, because I was so surprised. I love it. I loved the gift so much. Okay, let's get down to business. So here, because I happened to pick up a big Mega Key comic from the 80s in the CGC 9.8. For, I think, a very good price, an awesome price. And, we'll look on the census here, and you'll see that there's not a lot of these for, like, such a Mega Key. So to get it for this price, I think was just awesome. Yeah, I think I'll have the price in the thing, so it's, $416 for, like, what I think is a Mega Key. So, okay, got this in a couple days ago. Really excited to show it to you guys. I'm so glad I went and grabbed this, because I was thinking of possibly not bidding, but, this is a book where the cover is just so much better in the flesh. Let's get right into it, though. Here. Newest addition to the collection from 1983. A Batman 357. In first print, this is the direct version here, so not the newsstand version. In the CGC 9.8 white pages, a beautiful copy too. Perfectly centered, pretty much. No pages sticking out the side. Really nice colors, really nicely centered along the spine. Really visually nice. It's every now and then 9.8s, you see a dink on the spine. Like, it doesn't break the color on a 9.8, but you still see a spine dink every now and then. But this is a very high grade example. So Batman 357 is kind of the key issue from the Batman titled series of this era. It's the first full appearance of Killer Croc and the first Jason Todd. So two really iconic first appearances that were a part of, and still are a part of Batman comics, to this day, pretty much. And yeah, to get one in the CGC 9.8, I think for, as I, in the title, $416 US. And one of my kind of main sellers, so cheap shipping to Canada. So yeah, just all around, for me, I'm just kind of really happy with this buy. Let's look on the CGC census here. So, in the 9.8s here, there's 193 of these in the blue label CGC 9.8s. Little thing to note, in the 9.8, there's only 3 signature series books. So there's less than 100 of these 200 of these in the world in the CGC 9.8s. A lot of those too I've seen are not white pages. They're off white to white pages, some of those. So this is a really rare book in a high grade, especially a book for 2 iconic first appearances. The CGC 9.8 ratio at 15%, which is certainly an investment grade CGC 9.8 ratio, I think. Especially for a book where there's not a lot of them graded. Because usually that 9.8 ratio will get lower as there's just more graded. Well, like for really, really, really popular books, it tends to be a bit lower because there's so many graded, and there's less likely that most of those are 9.8s. But with this one, there's not even a lot graded. This is a part of the low print Batman run of the 80s that started at Batman 357 and went up to like 402, I believe it was. Those were all low print Batman books. Certainly compared to like Spider-Man and Marvel comics of that era. So, yeah, I'm just kind of really overjoyed to grab this book. Like, to kind of compare it to a book that you maybe think of buying if you were a really big Batman fan of the 80s is Batman The Dark Knight Returns #1. So first appearance of Carrie Kelly in that book. So, there's only 193 of these on the in the CGC 9.8. That book, there are, I think it's, there might be 1,000. There might be 1,000 of those. Maybe not, maybe a little bit less. But certainly hundreds more than this copy. And the CGC 9.8 ratio on Batman The Dark Knight Returns, I can't remember exactly, but off the top of my head, it's higher than 15. It's 17, I believe, or 18, which is worse. Lower the better. So of all graded copies of this book, 15% of them are 9.8s. Whereas the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, 18% of them, I believe it is, are 9.8s. So this book's more relatively rare than Batman The Dark Knight Returns #1. And it has less 9.8s, so there's less out there. Which should be, I think, really positive for the long term. Certainly if Killer Croc or Jason Todd happened to be in a movie too. So, yeah, just really overjoyed I could pick up like a classic Batman issue. Really quickly, I kind of have like 3 reasons here why I, really just like this book. I do think it's like an investment grade book. Certainly if you're a Batman fan and you're going to get some pride of ownership out of it too. I think it's a, really good kind of investment grade book to grab. So the first reason here, there's not many like obvious key issues before this that are affordable in the CGC 9.8. This is kind of the last big key issue in the Batman title that you can affordably buy in the CGC 9.8. Like the issue, I'm thinking the next key issue sort of in line, if you go back further in time, is Batman 251, which is the classic Joker cover. And in the CGC 9.8, those are going for like 6,000-7,000, I think it was the last time I checked, maybe even more. So, this is not a 70s book, still in the 80s here, 83. But, the fact that there's not a lot of options, I don't think, for like big Batman keys for this era. We talked about Batman The Dark Knight Returns, that's one of the options. But that's 86, I believe, or 87, that book that came out in maybe. So, a little bit newer. This book a little bit older than that book. just kind of a bit of a sweet spot, I think, as far as just being an obvious key issue in this era that there's not many other key issues, I would say. You know, first, Black Mask is another one that you could go for. And I know Batman 366 is an even more underfollowed one that I have 2 copies of in the CGC 9.8 that I love of this era, of the low print Batman run era. The low print run of, from Batman 357 to 402. I think pretty cool collector items in there, especially if you like some of the covers like I do. Second reason is the CGC census details, basically. 193 of these, so 1 of 193 here. Great feeling. I love that about CGC 9.8 books. Kind of a sort of a quantitative reason to have the book. And 1 in 193 collector item here. And that CGC 9.8 ratio of 15%, so it just looked good on this census. It's it's a book that I think is probably more expensive than $416 if you just look at the census. You know, two first appearances and only 193 in the world. And the last reason here, third reason, this cover is just totally grown on me. So hopefully there's not too many reflections today. I apologize for the reflections pretty much every day on some of these videos. Sometimes the sun is just kind of out a lot, but today's kind of cloudy, so it should be a bit better. But really just, from far away, this cover, it kind of, it's hard to kind of distinguish what's going on. But when you really get up close and, just the kind of gray teal color of Batman's really cool. And when you actually look at the details, the penciling is just really well executed. It just looks good. The proportions of Batman are good, even though he's upside down, all tangled up. And even just showing my girlfriend this, and she really was really liking the cover. And it took kind of a quick one of those covers where she looked at it for a good 20-30 seconds. It wasn't just oh, I know what's going on. It's one of those where you look a little harder, and just a really cool cover, I think. And I also like just the colors of the Batman lettering here, the blue and the yellow and the red. And it just adds it kind of a nice, caps it off really nicely, I think. So this cover's growing on me, and I think in past videos I've said that I sort of like Batman 366 sort of better because I'm not a big fan of this cover, because it's kind of all green, and it's green toned, but once I got it and once I just really took a look at it, I was looking at this thing for a while the other night, and really loving the cover. Well, it's well executed, I think, just the proportions and from far away, a little green tone, but look at the details, really starting to love it. So I'm so happy that I was able to grab this for $416 US with cheap shipping to Canada. Many times on our pricing videos, and just me in general, I've mentioned throughout videos that I saw these for $550, $575. I remember seeing a newsstand version of this, and I was really pretty close to buying it. It was $575 on kind of a big seller on it on eBay. That's a well-known seller. Never ended up pulling the trigger on that one, but usually the asking prices for this book are a lot more. And in this auction, it was a pretty full auction. There were a lot of popular books that this one seller posted at the one time. A lot of CGC 9.8 books, Amazing Spider-Man books, and there was a lot of really popular books. And this one was in that whatever, maybe there were 20 or 30 auctions of CGC 9.8s from the one seller, and this was one. And I'm so glad it kind of, I think, slipped through the crack, kind of went through the under the radar, because there were a lot of other key issues kind of in the book, and not a lot of them were Batman. They were mostly Spider-Man. So I sort of had a good feeling that I might get a deal on it, and I was so happy because I did bid, I believe, $525. Ended up getting it for $416. So I expected the bidding to really get up to $500, and I was hoping that if someone was brave enough to go over $500, I would just make sure of it to win it with $525. So I was really willing to kind of pay $500 for this book. Ended up getting it for $416. I'm a huge Batman fan. This really caps off my Batman collection, because now I have Batman fan of the 80s. I have this one now. I have Batman 366. The only one I kind of need is First Black Mask, Batman 386. But then I have, Batman 423 and, a lot of the issues leading in 404. Some of the detective comics too, which, we might be talking about in the next couple videos here, because I might have bought a detective comic too that goes well with this one. Okay, I think I'm blabbering on a little bit too much here, but yeah, if you haven't already, I'd invite you to join the team here and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. And yeah, kind of the early stages of the channel still, so need all the subs we can get, kind of, at this early stage, as I said. But again, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone out there. Hopefully, they're not quite over yet. You still got a couple more days off, and yeah, just enjoy it with your family. Think about what you're thankful for, and yeah, just enjoy it and relax and recharge. And yeah, I just for me, I had a lot of family stuff going on in the last 2 days. I didn't do any videos, and even today I got a few things going on, but I couldn't wait to show you guys this. And then Tony, yeah, just the amazing gift that I am still just overjoyed with, and kind of still speechless. But yeah, so happy to have like a Spider-Man #1 gold edition now. Just totally caps my like McFarlane books. Like I kind of got a lot of the Amazing Spider-Man McFarlane books, and yeah, Incredible Hulk 340 and Batman 423, and now a Spider-Man #1 to kind of complete my like iconic McFarlane covers, I think. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for all the support. Hopefully we'll have maybe a couple more videos, I think, in 2019 still. So yeah, thanks for all the support, and Merry Christmas again. Happy Holidays. I'll see you on the next video.